presentation of the NTRA in association with ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.
And welcome sports fans to Keeneland Racecourse, Lexington, Kentucky at dawn. Not that we were really here at dawn. This place is as serene as any track in the country. But that serenity has given way now to the roar of an overflow crowd. And we've got a race promising some chaos to match it, because 7 3-year-olds are about to line up for a last call for reservations in the Kentucky Derby. It's the Grade 2 Coolmore Lexington at 1 1/16. And welcome to Keeneland. Kenny Mayne and Randy Moss here. The weather's warm. The track is fast. We got the Lexington and the Federico Tesio coming from Pimlico later in this broadcast. That both races in our lineup. This is last call, Randy Moss. Anybody that wants to consider the Kentucky Derby a couple weeks from now. Now, usually trainers like to give a little more time before they race back. Is 2 weeks okay, though? I mean, we've seen some examples, right?
Absolutely. Charismatic in 1999 won this race, went on to win the Kentucky Derby. Last year, Proud Citizen won this race. Second to War Emblem in the Kentucky Derby, both trained by Wayne Lucas. So 2 weeks is not that big of a deal, as you hear the bell signifying that the horses are actually going to be in the paddock right now. The horses in today's race, I mean, this is a good field. 6 of the horses were at one point in the top 15 or 20 Derby contenders. For one reason or another, sickness, injury, bad prep race, they've been thrown off schedule, and their Derby status to a great degree depends on how they run today.
All right, if the field fills at Kentucky at the Kentucky Derby in 2 weeks, 20 would be the max. Money matters, and that's graded stakes earnings, but it doesn't look like it's going to fill, so maybe this doesn't matter as much.
At one point, it looked like we were going to get 20, but now it's shrunk. At this point, it looks like 14, 15, 16, but it has a tendency to grow as you see the graded earnings. The yellow marker denotes horses that are running in the Lexington Stakes, and a couple of those horses, like Lone Star Sky that you saw on the first page, as well as Hold That Tiger, are considered extremely doubtful, as is Midas Eyes there at number 21 and Cherokee's Boy in Private Gold.
All right, let's meet the animals. 7 of them with 1 scratch. Scrimshaw, number 1. I like to call him Hip, number 583. Hasn't won in 2 starts this year, and there's some basis to the thinking that maybe he'll win next only sprinting.
This is Wayne Lucas's horse this year at the Charismatic and Proud Citizen. A lot of attention being paid to him, coming off minor throat surgery. This was his last race, a 4th in the Hutchinson Speed and Rail.
Minister's Wildcat. He's been the favorite in all 4 of his career starts. That's testimony to all the potential seen in him. And Neil Drysdale, his trainer, he's a believer too.
This horse was scratched out of the Santa Anita Derby 2 weeks ago with a bruised foot. Drysdale will put blinkers on today. He is very confident in improvement.
I have the Tiger from the 3. 6.5 furlongs is the longest he's ever seen, and when he saw it, he didn't win.
I mentioned 6 of the 7 horses in this race were at one point considered Derby contenders. This is the only other horse, but he's got some good numbers, and they think he can go 2 turns. We'll see.
Most Feared, number 4. He has just 1 race under his belt in 2003. That was in January at Fairgrounds. He was 10th of 11 in a Grade 3, but he was hurt in that race.
Came out of that race with a stress fracture above the knee, cost him 30 days. Trainer Ronnie Warner lost badge of silver last week to injury, and now he gets Most Feared back in action this week.
Domestic Dispute is the 5. Wasn't he once the number 1 Kentucky Derby contender? That was before consecutive 5th place finishes at Santa Anita during the Buddy Gill dynasty.
And after the Santa Anita Derby, he was declared out of the Kentucky Derby by trainer Bob Baffert. Then Baffert called an audible, a Hail Mary. He says going to give him 1 more shot. Jerry Bailey's won this race 4 times.
The 7, Ocean Terrace. Sure, he was last in the Santa Anita Derby, and his buyer was the 26, but Andrew Beyer can be a real know-it-all.
They're not exactly sure why he ran so poorly, and to me, that's not a good sign. When a horse gets beat 47 lengths, I want reasons, and that K there, that green K, it means he was sold at Keeneland.
Sure does. Trust and Luck. If Empire Maker hadn't been born or had been adopted for a petting zoo, Trust and Luck would have won the Florida Derby.
He is a front runner. He was beaten badly in the Florida Derby, 9 3/4 lengths by Empire Maker. The key to Trust and Luck, can he get the lead from the far outside post at Keeneland?
No doubt these comments have influenced the betting. Minister's Wildcat 3-2, so it looks like for the 5th time, all 5 starts going to go forward as the favorite. But favorites have lost 11 straight in this race.
That is worth noting. Minister's Wildcat. A lot of people are listening to Neil Drysdale. He has been talking with uncharacteristic confidence that he expects those blinkers to make a big difference in Minister's Wildcat. And Lucas is being bet down as well with Scrimshaw.
6, Champ Ali scratched, and that one is pointed, what, to the Derby trial?
Yeah, he came down with the dreaded hoof fungus, so
all
he's
right.
out.
It's pretty here, though. We're coming back. Lexington, good place at Keeneland. They're going to contest the Lexington Stakes in a matter of minutes. Stay around.
This ESPN2 presentation of Citgo Racing to the Kentucky Derby is brought to you by Citgo. We know you. By Visa, proud sponsor of the Visa Triple Crown. By Budweiser, the best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. By Coolmore, proven sires for today, world-leading potential for tomorrow. By Long John Silver's, this is seafood country. By NTRA.com, the official site of the NTRA and the Breeders' Cup World Thoroughbred Championships.
They're crazy about horse racing down here in Kentucky. You might have heard, never more so than around this area, Lexington. They got Calumet Farm, downtown Thoroughbred Park. And if all that beauty isn't enough for you, plug in and play the Derby Owners Club. It's a Sega game. They're nuts about it in Paraguay. It's taking over the planet. If you want to bet on horses without losing money, you can go to ESPN.com and play the Citgo Pick 6. ESPN is printing and giving away money. Bet often. Actually, you only get one entry, but bet once and mean it when you do that. The horses are on the track, are they not? And Minister's Wildcat, they're crazy about him. Talked to the trainer, Neil Drysdale. He doesn't give away much during an interview, does he, Randy?
Not usually. No, he doesn't give away much at all. But as I said, he does believe that the blinkers are going to make a big difference. We saw what they did with Empire Maker. Empire Maker was the kind of horse, the Kentucky Derby favorite, incidentally, for those of you joining us for the first time, who was sort of distracted. He would kind of run in spurts, and the blinkers helped him concentrate. Minister's Wildcat has been the same kind of horse. He kind of shows a lot of ability, but he kind of goofs around during his races, and the blinkers hopefully will get his attention.
And there's the 8 Trust and Luck. If anyone can just go out and steal this thing, and maybe you should point out about how much this track favors those who get an easy lead and just coast on it.
Yeah, Keeneland is notoriously speed and rail favoring track. Trust and Luck breaking from the far outside post, a point that trainer Ralph Zadie has been bemoaning all week long. And Scrimshaw's got speed on the rail, so it's going to be interesting to see who actually gets the lead. This is Trust and Luck's first time out of Florida, and he didn't do very well on the plane trip. He has a bad travel agent. He went from Miami to Memphis. And then at Memphis, he got on a van and went 8 hours to Lexington. So,
you know, I've never been to Lexington, but nevertheless, I'm nostalgic, as I always am at this point in the show, for a Long John Silver memory. Let's go way back, like a couple years ago.
Kenny gets very misty-eyed when we get to this point in the show. We're going to go back 4 years ago, and that is Charismatic preparing for none other than the Lexington Stakes here at Keeneland. That day, Charismatic, trained by Wayne Lucas, was sent off from the gate at odds of 12-1.
Charismatic strides forward in the final furlong and wrestles the lead away from Yankee Victor. Coming to the line in the Coolmore Lexington is going to be Charismatic in front.
He won. We already gave that away. Jerry Bailey rode him that day, and we also already gave away the fact that 2 weeks later he won the Kentucky Derby with jockey Chris Anthony.
There's Scrimshaw, D. Wayne Lucas, the trainer, Edgar Prado, the jockey. They're back in this one. He's breaking from the rail, going to go out there and try to run with Trust and Luck. We're coming back with the Lexington real soon. Of course, as you know, this is Citgo Racing to the Kentucky Derby, and it is presented by Visa. This is how the players, the bettors, are endorsing the animals right now. And Minister's Wildcat has moved up a bit now, 2-1. Some more action coming on Trust and Luck on the outside at 5-2. Domestic dispute, middle of the pack. Baffert's giving him another shot in this one, see if he can rally that animal after a couple of 5th place finishes out west. Leading us perfectly to Randy and the Bud long shot.
You know the old saying, you don't change horses in the middle of the stream? Well, that's what we're doing for the Bud Longshot. We had Scrimshaw, but they bet him down to 4-1. So now we're switching to number 3, Eye of the Tiger. The horse going around 2 turns for the first time. Speed figures steadily improving. His sire, American Chance, won a stakes race here at Keeneland. Trainer Jerry Hollendorfer used the Lexington with Global Eyes, who finished 2nd in this race. Eye of the Tiger might be nearing a career peak. His jockey will be Robbie Alvarado, who's also won the Lexington. So for all those reasons, this Bud's for you. Eye of the Tiger, 9-1, Bud Longshot.
Emergency Bud Longshot. I would have gone with Most Fear, the 4, who's doing big things as the 2-year-old got hurt in its 1 start at the fairgrounds. But let's look around the rest of the track as they're nearing the gate. A couple minutes. Domestic dispute. Randy, we mentioned at the top of the show, this one was ranked #1, Daily Racing Form and others. And that was off a nice win, I think grade 2 out there in California, but then twice in a row San Felipe and the Santa Anita Derby really didn't show that much.
And the problem was no real legitimate excuses in those races either. Jerry Bailey rode him in the San Felipe, finished 5th. He couldn't ride him in the Santa Anita Derby because he was riding out of town riding Medaglia d'Oro. Now he's back in the saddle, but of course Bailey's already taken for the Kentucky Derby. He's the rider of Empire Maker. Baffert says that he's not really thinking Kentucky Derby at this point with domestic dispute, but if he were to run a huge race, then obviously he would jump back into the picture.
Trust and Luck had it easy in the Fountain of Youth, went out there, but then in the Florida Derby went out to that same comfortable lead, but unfortunately was facing a horse like Empire Maker.
Yeah, I think we'll know 1/8 of a mile out of the gate what kind of chance Trust and Luck has. I mean, they say they think he can sit just off the pace and rate if necessary, but he's never done that effectively before. So watch the start and see if Scrimshaw goes inside and see if Trust and Luck can beat him to the lead if that happens.
Trust and Luck carries the highway 123. They give away some pounds to those who haven't won a certain amount of money at longer distances. The rest of them are starting to load in. There's Ocean Terrace, inexplicable 43 odd lengths behind, or 49, I guess.
47, yeah.
Whatever. A lot of lengths.
When it gets that high, you kind of stop counting.
He was jogging at the back. We're going to send it upstairs now. The track announcer here is Kurt Becker for the call of the Coolmore Lexington.
Trusted Luck moves in the line. They are at the post. And they're off. Trust and Luck broke sharply, comes right out to hustle for the lead. Ocean Terrace is also there, and then most feared in between horses, Scrimshaw kicks in down toward the rail as they move for the first turn. Trust and Luck has the advantage by 3/4 of a length. Scrimshaw is there toward his inside, and now Trust and Luck starts to move by to get the lead by a full length midway on the first turn. They're 4 across, contesting the second position. Most feared is in between horses toward the outside now. Scrimshaw back toward the rail. Minister's Wildcat was 4th, moves up into 2nd by a neck as they enter the backstretch. Ocean Terrace is part of that flight of horses as well. And then Domestic Dispute next to last. Eye of the Tiger trails nearly 5 lengths off the lead. 23 seconds the time for the opening quarter. Trust and Luck is the leader by 3/4 of a length. Minister's Wildcat is 2nd. Most feared on the far outside. Then Scrimshaw regains 3rd toward the rail. Eye of the Tiger moves up between horses 4th, 2.5 lengths off the lead. Domestic Dispute is out in the center of the track and is now running 4 lengths from the front and picks up a couple of positions at the entry to the far turn. Most feared is now next to last, and Ocean Terrace trails. They got the half in 47 seconds. Trust and Luck leads it by a length coming to the quarter pole. Minister's Wildcat, and then Eye of the Tiger. Domestic Dispute and Scrimshaw back toward the rail. Scrimshaw is needing room. Domestic Dispute is caught 4 wide around the far turn. Past the quarter pole, Trust and Luck leads it by a length and a half. Scrimshaw, Eye of the Tiger on the outside is 3rd. Domestic Dispute is wide off the turn. Minister's Wildcat is still 5th behind those horses. Here's Scrimshaw with a clear run at the 8th pole. Scrimshaw is up to grab the lead from Trust and Luck, and then Eye of the Tiger and Domestic Dispute. Final 16th of the Coolmore Lexington. Lucas does it again. Scrimshaw takes the Coolmore Lexington by some 3 lengths. Eye of the Tiger 2nd. Domestic Dispute 3rd. Trust and Luck 4th in 1:45 and 2.
So Scrimshaw has done it. Scrimshaw fell behind, was giving chase all the way around to Trust and Luck, but had enough to go that extra distance.
Saved ground on the inside, came around Trust and Luck at the top of the stretch, and doggone it if Dwayne Lucas didn't do it once again. His 4th win in this race. Of course, we've already cited Charismatic and how well he ran in the Derby, and Proud Citizen last year. Lucas insisted all along that Scrimshaw was his best 3-year-old all year and that he would run a big race today, and as usual in the Lexington, he was right.
It was like he hid behind him when it looked like the other two from the outside were going to make the move. He popped out, found some space because he wasn't going to get to the rail.
And Trust and Luck had pretty easy fractions for top-class stakes horses. You see he's running on his wrong lead, his left leg lead down the stretch. That's not good, but actually so is Scrimshaw, but Scrimshaw's clearly in front.
We're going to come right back and try to figure out what all this means pointing forward to the Kentucky Derby. Scrimshaw has won the Coolmore Lexington in decisive fashion. We're coming right back from Keeneland.
This ESPN2 presentation of Citgo Racing to the Kentucky Derby is brought to you by Citgo. We know you. By Visa, proud sponsor of the Visa Triple Crown. By Budweiser, the best things in life are the things that are true. Budweiser. By Coolmore, proven sires for today, world-leading potential for tomorrow. By Long John Silver's, this is seafood country. by The Greatest Game. To learn more about thoroughbred ownership, log on to thegreatestgame.com. Equibase.com, your official online source for racing information from entries to results and everything in between. Equibase.com is a service of Equibase Company, the thoroughbred industry's official database.
So Scrimshaw's won 3 times now in 5 starts, nearly 300 grand for the owners of that. Dwayne Lucas, the first ever to go back-to-back with Lexington winners. Last year with Proud Citizen. Randy Moss is with him, but first want to show you what he paid. Find out if first question will be to Dwayne Lucas back in with the mutuals. $14 and change for Scrimshaw. Players didn't believe Eye of the Tiger, which was our last minute Bud Longshot, gets up for second. So Randy did quite well. Don't know if he played it, but he's got the good interviews right now.
All right, Kenny. Wayne, Kenny Mayne wants me to ask you the first question. Did you play the horse?
I didn't play him because I knew that it was a competitive race, and I'm not a real bettor. I can stop any of them for $5.
And we've already cited at length Charismatic and Proud Citizen. I mean, this is just an unbelievable job by you once again. And I guess I don't have to ask you if you're going to the Kentucky Derby, right?
Well, I think I'm going to have to talk to Bob and Beverly, and I'm extremely happy for them. I mean, I can't tell you how happy I am for them, but we'll visit on it. My vote's going to be a big one, I'm hope, and you know where that'll go. But this was the one we had to have. We had to get it under our belt. We had to get this good mile in the 16th, but I'm not too concerned about the 2 weeks now.
Now, I have to think that the odds were more stacked against you this time around than with the others because of the minor throat surgery. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, you know, so many of those throat surgeries, you know, they either work. Some people say 50-50. The vets will tell you 70, but they're doing it. And this one I thought worked beautifully. Dr. Ralph Emerson did a great job. Every time we scoped this horse, every time we worked him, I thought he was getting his air as good as any horse in the barn, and that's all we needed.
All right, let's bring in Edgar Prado now as we see the replay. Edgar, I thought at the start it looked like he might have stumbled a little bit. Is that right?
Just stumbled a little bit coming out of the gate, you know. Once again, they show you that the race has to be running before anything. The game wasn't over until it's over. You know, and the horse showed potential before. He threw a bad race last time, but like I said, Wayne said have excuse now. Everything is back in order, and he showed his race today.
All right, now, I guess I shouldn't ask you this. It's not politically correct, but especially with Wayne standing here. But you've already got your Kentucky Derby horse. Most people thinking peace rules, right or wrong?
So far, yes. So far, it's the horse that I will ride it, but you never know until the day of entries.
But Wayne has another jockey in mind, right?
Well, Randy, I didn't look down the road that far. I thought we should get the best guy we could get on this day, and we'd worry about what happened after this day. And so Edgar was the best guy I could find, and I was glad to have him. And I told Bob Freeze, I said, you don't have any obligation. You ride the horse, we'll pay you, and then we'll talk later.
All right, Kenny Mayne, we've been here before in the winner's circle. Wayne Lucas, Scrimshaw, once again.
All right, the full order. Scrimshaw, of course, the winner. Eye of the Tigers, Randy's other selection, got up for second. Domestic Dispute, pretty much same kind of race. He's run out in California. Who knows what's next? Trust and Luck couldn't hold that lead, drops to fourth. Ocean Terrace, going to have to find some answers to that one. Last place in that. It now takes us to the Visa 3-year-old update. Couple of big ones to talk about, Randy.
All right, thanks, Kenny. As we see the graphics, we'll see both Keeneland and Churchill Downs. That's our first stops on the Visa 3-year-old update. Of course, the Twin Spires designates Churchill Downs, and there is your favorite Empire Maker getting off the van on Sunday for trainer Bobby Frankel. Frankel's the superstitious type. They put him in stall 13, and Frankel immediately had it changed to stall 14. Meanwhile, here at Keeneland, this was yesterday morning, 10 Most Wanted. The winner of the Illinois Derby has now been partially purchased. Paul Redham bought a quarter of the horse for a price of $1 million. He might be Empire Maker's toughest competition. And earlier this afternoon, actually about 20 minutes ago, at Pimlico Racecourse, the site of the Preakness, the Federico Tesio. Kenny talked about that earlier. It was just run. And there are the entries, Kenny.
Give Me a Wink getting extra support toward the end. Actually just about equal with Cherokee's Boy, who was the logical favorite in this one. Had run so well at Laurel, was way back against 10 Most Wanted in the Illinois Derby. This one, Randy, you'll agree, is more of a setup to the Pimlico than it would be the Kentucky Derby. Dave Rodman's the race caller, and here's how he called it.
Cherokee's Boy and Gimme a Wink come out running 1-2. Penobscot Bay is right up close, and Seattle Surprise and High Watermark and Gang has dropped back to last and about 6 lengths off the lead. And it's going to be an easy pace out there for Ryan Fogelsonger and Cherokee's Boy settling into a steady beat around that first turn. Penobscot Bay racing along in second and now 2 lengths off the lead of Cherokee's Boy. Gimme a Wink is riding the rail in third. It's another 2 back to Seattle Surprise, another 2 lengths back to Gang, and High Watermark in the back of the pack and some 8 to 9 lengths off the lead. Easy pace out there for Cherokee's Boy, running along comfortably and unopposed by 3 lengths. Penobscot Bay under some urging there in second. Length and a half. Gimme a Wink is third in striking range, followed by Seattle Surprise. Then Gang second last, and High Watermark, the late runner from the back of the pack, is about 8 lengths off that lead. The Cherokee's Boy is just bounding on past the 5 furlong marker. 3-length advantage. Penobscot Bay, Gimme a Wink, followed by Seattle Surprise. High Watermark is pushed along by Pino from the rail. High Watermark is advanced to 4th, and Gang is last. Into the far turn. It's been an even pace so far for Cherokee's Boy. Cherokee's Boy, the one to catch with 3 furlongs to go in the Tesio. Penobscot Bay and Gimme a Wink running in third. High Watermark 4th. Gang is 5th, and Seattle Surprise is last. With a quarter to go at Pimlico, Cherokee's Boy, Penobscot Bay set sail. Gimme a Wink's got a little bit better at this point. Gang on the extreme outside, and Cherokee's Boy and Penobscot Bay takes dead aim. 3/16 of a mile to go. Cherokee's Boy's got more for the final furlong. Penobscot Bay wandering way to the center of the racetrack, running green as grass. It's Cherokee's Boy at black final furlong, in front by 3 lengths from Penobscot Bay, and Cherokee's Boy and Ryan Fogelsonger will take the Tesio in style to win by 3 on the line. Penobscot Bay, High Watermark, Gimme a Wink, and then Gang and Seattle Surprise.
So Cherokee's Boy now 3 for 3 over the Pimlico surface, Randy, and you think that's where he stays going forward for the Preakness?
Well, prior to the race, trainer Gary Capuano was quoted as saying that this was his prep for the Preakness, and he was really not a Kentucky Derby contender. So unless he's changed his mind, we didn't have a chance to talk to him. He was just run 15 minutes ago.
All right, so
that's where he's headed.
Scrimshaw has moved on from here, and it sounds like D. Wayne's all over the Kentucky Derby. Hard to ever bet against D. Wayne Lucas and the Lewises, Bob and Beverly.
Well, Charismatic was 31 to 1 in the Derby coming out of this race. Proud Citizen was 23 to 1 last year. Scrimshaw is going to be 30 to 1 probably this year. People are going to overlook him once again. I probably will too, but we've been down this road before, that's for sure.
All right, coming up this week on Tuesday, we got Wire to Wire. Randy's going to be in charge of that thing. Then next Sunday on the 27th of the month at 10:30 a.m. Eastern over on ESPN2. It's a Triple Ground preview special looking at all the races that we've covered so far the season, going way back to the Fountain of Youth. Up next, we have the 2002 Trick Shot Magic. Even though the shots are quite good in 2003, they were something in 2002. This, of course, has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For verification of that, go to ESPN.com. Scrimshaw is your winner in the Coolmore Lexington. We'll see you next time.